Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. In today's video I'm going to be showing you how you can cut this beautiful stylish jacket with an opening or slit in front. So if it's something you would love to learn, do well to stay to the end of the video, like, share and subscribe. So let's go right into it. The first thing is to mark our button allowance we have in front. So I'm going to be marking my button allowance on 1.5 inches all the way down. It depends on how you want your button allowance to be. You can mark 1 inch or 2 inch. So I'm going to take that all the way down, connect a line. So the next thing is to take our vertical measurement. From the top here is our shoulder line and our starting point. From there I'm going to come down to mark my bust point, which is 9.5 inches. I will extend the point across. The next line will be our waistline. Shoulder to my waist in front is 16.5 inches. I'll mark that all the way to get a straight line. Then I will extend that point across. So the next line will be the length of our top. So I'm going to be marking 26 as the length. It depends on how long or short you want yours to be. So go ahead and mark whatever inch you want for your length. I'll go ahead and extend that point across this way. So I will label them appropriately. This is my bust line, my waistline, and my full length. So I'm going to come to the shoulder here, divide my shoulder by 2, which is 7.5. I'm going to mark it here. On that point, or at that point, I'm going to come down by 1 inch for my shoulder slope. I'll mark my basic neck of 3 inches here. I'll connect from the shoulder slope to the 3 inches. I'll come down to mark my neck depth of 3 inches as well. I'll connect from the neck width to the 3 inches with my curve rule. For this jacket, you can either make use of a round neck or a V neckline. It depends on what you want. So if you are making use of a V neckline, you just have to come down to wherever you want your V to stop, mark there and connect from your neck depth all the way to the points you want your V-neck to stop. But for this tutorial, we are using a round neck, so we are going to leave it this way. The next thing is to mark our chest line. How to get your chest line? Divide your bust by 6, then add 1.5 inches to the measurement. In my case, I got 7, and I'm going to extend that point across this way. So this line become our chest line. To get a straight line, I'm going to mark my shoulder measurement on the chest line. I'll connect from the shoulder slope to the point we just marked on the chest line. So I'm going to come to this line here to mark the midpoint of this line, and the midpoint of 7 is 3.5. I will come to the chest line, divide my bust circumference by 4. I'll mark it on the chest line. At the midpoint of this line, I'll come in by half an inch and connect my markings this way. So this is our armhole. The next thing is to mark our dart. To mark your dart, you divide your nipple to nipple by 2, and mine is 3.5. I'm going to mark it on all the 3 lines, and I'm going to use a straight line to connect the points together like this. On the waistline, I'm going to mark half an inch on both sides of our dart leg. Then from the bust line, I'm going to come down by 1 inch. From the full length, I'm going to come up by 2 inches. Then I'll connect my dart. We have like a preset dart on the jacket. So from the bust line here, I'm going to connect to the midpoint of my armhole with my curve rule this way. So I'll come to this line here and go down by 1 inch to tighten up this place so we don't have any gap in here, and I'll connect that 1 inch back into the initial line with my curve rule this way. So this 1 inch we came down, we're going to replace it. So I'll go out by 1 inch here from this point and connect that line all the way to that 1 inch, so we don't have any shortage. The 1 inch we took here, we're going to replace it on the chest line as well. Then I'm going to reconnect my armhole this way. The next thing is to impute our round body measurement. We've already marked our bust line. I'll come to my waistline, divide my waist by 4. I'll chalk it down on the waistline. The 1 inch for that, I'll replace it. Then I'm going to add my sewing allowance of 1 inch. It depends on how you want it. You can do 1.5 inches for your sewing allowance. It's absolutely fine. On the full length, I'm going to mark my hip measurements here and add my sewing allowance. I'll go ahead and connect my markings this way. So the next thing, we are going to mark our bust dart, and this is the difference you have from your shoulder to your waist in front and back, and mine is 1.5 inches. I came down by that 1.5 inches from the bust line and connected it back into the bust line this way. So the opening we have in front, I'm going to come down from the waistline by 4 inches. It depends on where you want your opening to start from. Then from the dart leg, I'm going to come in by 1 inch. You see what I did there? And I'm going to connect these 2 points together like this. You can see what I did there, and extend this line into the button allowance. So this is where our button is going to stop. This is where our buttons will be. You see there. So this is the opening we have in front. It depends on how deep you want your opening to be. You can go up more or come. If you don't want it to open, you can come down also. From the side front here, I'm going to go up by 3 inches from the hip line. This is to give our jacket a very nice curve here and connect it back into the line with our cover this way. You can see that we have a very nice shape around this area. So this is basically it for the front. We'll cut it out just so we can work on the back pattern. So if you have watched to this point and you have not yet subscribed, please do well to subscribe. Subscription is totally free. Make sure to close down your dart before you cut your pattern paper out. So this is the front. So we are going to keep this aside so that we can work on the back pattern. For the back pattern, I've already gone ahead to rule out the necessary lines we need: my bust line, waistline, and the full length. I'm going to come to the shoulder line here, divide my shoulder by 2, which is 7.5. At that point, I'll come down by 1 inch for my shoulder slope. I'll come here to mark my basic neck of 3 inches. I'll connect from the shoulder slope into the neck this way. I'll come down here to mark my arm length. And how to get your arm length: divide your bust by 6, add 1.5 inches, just the way we did for the front. I will extend that point across this way. So what I have as, this is my chest line, what I have as my shoulder measurement, I'm going to mark it on the chest line to get a straight line. I'll connect from the shoulder slope to this point. So I'm going to come to this line here to mark the midpoint, dividing into 2 equals to get the midpoint. At that point, I'll go in by ½ inch here. I'm going to come to the chest line, divide my bust circumference by 4. Then I'll connect the points together to form my armhole with my curve root this way. The next thing is to mark our dart. So divide your nipple to nipple measurement by 2. Mine is 3.5. I'm going to mark the 3.5 on the bust line, waistline, and also on the full length. Then I'll connect the points together with a straight line. On the waistline, I'm going to mark ½ inch on both sides of our dart leg. I'll come off from the hip line by 2 inches. Then I'm going to connect my darts this way. The next thing is to impute our round body measurement. I've already marked my bust line. I'll add my sewing allowance. I'll come to the waist, mark my waist, place the 1 inch for that, then add my sewing allowance. I'll come to the full length, mark my hip circumference divided by 4. Then I'll add my sewing allowance. I'll go ahead and connect my markings. So this is what we have for the back. I'm going to come here to mark my neck depth. I'm going to mark 1 inch for my neck depth. Then I'll connect from the neck width with my curve rule all the way to the neck depth this way. If you like, you can leave your back pattern this way. But if you want to have that princess dart on the back pattern, just connect from your bust line all the way to the midpoint of your armhole this way. If you want to have that princess dart on the back pattern as well. So on the waistline, I'm going to mark ½ inch here. I will mark ½ inch inward and connect it slantly up and down. This is to allow our jacket relax very well at the back or on the back. You know, our back is not straight, so this will make our jacket relaxed, flat or lay flat at the back. I'm going to come up by 3 inches on this side back, just the way we did for the front, and then connect with my curve row back into the line this way. So this is what we have for the back pattern. It is very easy. So I'll go ahead and cut this pattern paper out. Like I was saying earlier, please, if you have not subscribed, do well to subscribe. Subscription is totally free, please. And if you have any question regarding this video, do well to write it down in the comment section, and I promise to respond to all your questions. So this is what we have the back pattern and the front pattern here. Thank you so much, and this is all we have for today's tutorial. We are going to cut ×2 of all the pieces, both for the front and the back. We are going to be cutting ×2 for all the pieces. And this is all we have for today. Thank you so much for staying tuned, and I will see you in the next video.